So, in the current day and age, we are looking at phones and thinking, well, it's pretty much the same as the phone that was before that. Like for instance the Note 10 and the Note 20. While the Note 20 comes with some good upgrades, I have to be fair that there isn't enough to justify buying that if you already have the Note 10. However, the question becomes, is something like the Note 9 actually the phone that you should get? And for those who know, I actually repaired this Note 9 and it's fully functioning now. So it's a good time to actually see where this Note 9 stands and of course if this is still worth it in 2020. Now when it comes to buying a phone, you buy it for several reasons. For one, you think, okay, the camera I really like. Maybe you like the S Pen on the Note series more than something like the S series that doesn't feature that. However, you don't really care about the trade-in of the battery life because, well, an S Pen takes in some space. And of course, with the Note series, you do get a larger display. And of course, when you buy a phone, you also buy it for set specifications. For instance, having the newest chip. However, with that being said, well, there is a difference from year to year. The gap is slowly becoming less and less. I don't feel like you can justify, for instance, like I said, buying the Note 20 over the Note 10 if you already have that Note 10. Why would you trade it in, apart from some changes like the camera and design itself? Or just wanting the newest, the latest and greatest, even though you won't really notice that in day-to-day life. However, with that being said, if you buy something like the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, you do know that you are getting a huge price cut compared to what it was originally. This phone can be bought for about 350 to 400 euros and you get a high-end phone for that. This means that the build quality is solid compared to some mid-range phones that you can buy out there as well. This is something that is really the strength of buying an older flagship, especially when it comes to the Note series, because for myself, I'm a huge fan of the Note series. With that being said though, there is one problem that I have with the current Note series. The Note series is an all-around flagship. It should do everything and everything well. And this is where the problem lies currently. For instance, the headphone jack on the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 is still there, where on the Note 10 and the Note 20 you don't have that anymore. This is again something that makes the Note 9 really interesting for me, and a lot of people who actually still use that headphone jack. Again, for me, it's so much better than having Bluetooth headsets. I don't like having that separated or anything. I'm not gonna go and rant about it again, but it's just better and I like to have it on my phone. Simple as that. I only would trade it in if the screen would be foldable. Yeah, that would be acceptable. Anyway, the Note 9 next to that, if you don't like cutouts, the Note 9 doesn't have it. It has bezels in turn, yes, but I don't really care for that so much. You don't have, of course, the 120Hz display panel that you get on the Note 20, but again, you pay 400 euros for it instead of something like 1,000 or 1,300 euros. That difference is huge, and you won't really notice that in day-to-day use. This makes the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 just something that is really valuable in 2020 compared to something like the Note 20. It offers so much to the Note 9 that you can say, okay, well, the camera is still fine. It isn't the greatest out there, of course, but it's still fine. It has computational photography for if you care for it, and it still has the same color science that Samsung uses. However, with that being said, Samsung does seem to cool down a little bit when it comes to removing as much as possible shadows. However, the main thing that you will notice when you buy the Note 20, for instance, is of course the zoom function. The Note 20 Ultra has this zoom function that is ×5 optical, which means you don't actually lose quality. Well, mostly. Of course, there's less light coming into the sensor, because the more you zoom in, the smaller the aperture. And of course, the Note 9 clearly doesn't offer that. It only has a 2x zoom, and it doesn't have an ultra-wide camera. So this is only a wide camera instead of having that ultra-wide that I actually do enjoy on my phone. This is also why I said I'm gonna use the S10 as my main phone instead of using the Note 9. However, again, I do like the Note 9 quite a lot. It is, however, a shame, of course, with the Note 9 that you do not get that extra support that the Samsung Galaxy S10, for instance, does get. 3 years of Android updates. Again, that is something good that a flagship should have. So, for longevity, the Note 20 will get updates far longer. But the question is it simply worth a difference of almost €1,000 to buy a phone that in your day-to-day use doesn't provide you with that much more, with a significant amount of upgrades that really makes it stand out compared to the Note 9. Now, if you set this in around the time with the Note 3 and then to the Note 4, or actually the Note 3 to the Note 7, now that's a bad comparison. That's really a bad comparison. From the Note 1 to the Note 3, you had a really big upgrade. That upgrade was significant. There was a huge benefit from going from the Note 1 to the Note 3. However, in these days, it really isn't there. So, if you want to buy a phone for around €400, or you want to have an old high-end phone, the Samsung Galaxy Note 9 simply is a phone that should be on your list. It does everything that you need it to do, and it does it well. The display is still beautiful, it gets bright enough, it gets brighter than my Xperia 1 Mark II, and it really is beneficial when you are outside. Again, this is something that is a complaint about my Sony Xperia 1 Mark II, but I'm gonna make a separate video about that phone. Anyway, the Note 9, simply put, in 2020 I feel like it's still worth it. You're not missing out on too much, and you do have a headphone jack. And of course, expandable memory, which for some reason the normal Note 20 doesn't have. Imagine that. Also, this one has a glass back. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and of course, seeing if the Note 20 is still worth it. For me, a clear yes. Not even a moment of doubt about that. Especially when you can get it for about €350 to €400. It's something that is really impressive. And if someone took care of that phone really well, you got a phone that will last you for some time. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and of course subscribe. And maybe if you want to become a member, you can just press become a member or join in this case. Either way, have a good one and talk to you guys in the next.